So let's talk about immigration for a second. A lot of folks have legitimate concerns about what's happening at our borders. It is critical that the next president work with Democrats and Republicans to make sure our borders are orderly and secure. We are a nation of immigrants. We are also a nation of laws. And we have to make sure that those two things work together. But, you know, whenever the issue of immigration comes up, Donald Trump likes to say it's Kamala Harris's fault. She's been vice president for 4 years. Why didn't she fix it? Wasn't Donald Trump president for 4 years? Why didn't he fix it? If rounding up and deporting millions of desperate people is the answer to everything, why was the number of undocumented immigrants basically the same when Donald Trump left office as when he took office? Think about that. I'll tell you why. Because Donald Trump doesn't have a real plan to solve immigration. He's got a concept of a plan, and it's a mean and ugly concept. You know what would actually bring order to the border and fix our immigration system? The bipartisan deal that Kamala Harris supported, even though it was written by one of the most conservative Republicans in Congress. Donald Trump, on the verge of the vote, told Republicans not to vote for it because his mindset was, I want this issue to run on. I want to be able to fear-monger. That's how I'm going to win this election. That's how he was thinking. We do not need a president, Wisconsin, who will make problems worse just to make their politics better. We need a president who cares about solving problems and making your life better. And that's what Kamala Harris will do. And to help her do it, she's going to need a Senate full of public servants like Tammy Baldwin. Tammy spent her career fighting for things like good jobs and affordable health care and medication and personal freedom. She knows how to make a difference. She has proved she can make a difference. Remember how the Affordable Care Act lets young people stay on their parents' health care plan until they're 26? Tammy wrote that part of the bill. She knew it was important to Wisconsin families. That's the kind of workhorse and not show horse that we need in Washington. That's the kind of person who's going to help get Kamala in office and help Kamala get stuff done. Somebody who shares our values. Somebody who wants to move this country forward and not back. Yeah, she's really good. Tammy's legit. Now, there's one last thing I hear from undecided voters, and this, I'll be honest with you, may be the toughest answer. Toughest to answer. They'll tell me that at the end of the day, from their perspective, politicians are all the same. They make empty promises. Regardless who ends up being the next president, it's not really going to make a difference in their lives. And I know you've heard that from friends, neighbors, coworkers. And I think we can all understand why people might feel that way. You know, if you live in a small town in rural Wisconsin and you saw the plant close down and jobs get shipped overseas and young people start moving away because they don't feel like they've got a fair shot at advancement, you're going to feel skeptical about government being able to bring about real change. If you live in a neighborhood in Milwaukee where gun violence and the drug trade are a fact of life, and parents are scared about their kids just getting to and from school, you're going to feel the same way. So if that's your perspective, I want to be honest. Politics, you're right, politics is not going to solve all of your problems. No matter how well-meaning a president might be. He or she is not going to get rid of poverty or eliminate racism in one term or two. No president's going to reverse every long-term economic trend. They can't make sure your boss doesn't act like a jerk or make your kids listen to you when they're doing something stupid. But what government can do is make your life a little better. A president who's serious and who cares about you can make it a little easier for you to afford a home, a little easier for you to pay for your medicine, make it a little easier to send your kid to college or to get him an apprenticeship in a trade. And those small measures of improvement over time add up. And the flip side is a bad president, a president who does not see you, who does not care about you, can make your life a little bit harder. And that adds up too. When I was president, I did not solve all the problems of our healthcare system. But just this week, while I was visiting a campaign volunteer office in Maryland, 3 people separately, unprompted, came up and told me how the ACA had protected their families during a serious illness. One woman comes up and she says, "You saved my son's life." Now, I promise you, every single one of you here, somebody you know has health care because of the Affordable Care Act. And it did not solve every problem, but it's made a difference. It's provided people with some security, and I could not have done that without your vote.